Hello everyone, my name is Annika Carlson, and as a part of the University of Cincinnati's honors program, I completed a case study on the impacts of the coronavirus pandemic on a community of which I am a part and that I feel I am deeply connected to, which is that of a student. A little over 2 years ago, people all across the world watched as our daily lives took a drastic turn and changed for what we thought would only be a few weeks or maybe even a month. But here we stand 2 years later, tens of thousands of people lost, still dealing with the aftermath and the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Just about every single person on the planet has felt the effects of this virus, but a community that has been a large focus of attention are students. Due to widespread lockdowns and isolation protocols, students of all ages experience the cancellation of milestone events such as graduation, prom, and sports games, while also being forced to change their way of learning for months at a time. Nobody expected the pandemic to affect students as much as it did at the start, no less how much it would continue to impact them as the span of the pandemic has turned from months to years. While students of all ages are greatly impacted by these events, the focus of this research will be on the community of university students. Two areas of interest in terms of the effect of COVID-19 on university-level students includes the educational aspect, but on an even deeper level, students continue to struggle mentally, emotionally, and socially because of the virus. With most schools and universities being fully shut down during the height of the pandemic, students were expected to deal with an extremely rapid shift in their methods of learning as most schools turned to online lectures, assignments, and curriculums. In their article titled Student Perspectives on the Impact of COVID-19 on Learning, authors Katie Hill and Rebecca Fitzgerald stressed the feelings of disconnect and isolation that many students felt from both their peers and teachers because of these new online formats for such a long period of time. In addition, many students indicated feeling a complete lack of engagement during online lectures because of the format's limit on engagement and participation. Similarly, authors Mayo, Abukhalaf, Olamar, Sattar, and Kolonov found in their study COVID-19 pandemic impact of quarantine on medical students' mental well-being and learning behaviors that in a pool of 625 medical students surveyed, around 43% of students noticed a deterioration in their work performance, while about 48% also noted a decrease in their time spent studying over the pandemic. These students also largely indicated a decreased ability to retain information and concentrate on their studies. In support of these points, students at many different levels in their college education expressed struggling with focus on lectures and schoolwork as cell phones, televisions, and other devices competed for their attention at all times of the day while working at home. All of these factors led to many students experiencing a significant decline in their academic performance as they felt it more difficult to get help when they needed or lacking the motivation to get work done. According to Deepika Namibar in the article, The Impact of Online Learning During COVID-19, Students and Teachers' Perspectives, students felt that online classes were difficult for many reasons, including, quote, technical issues, lack of structure, disturbance in the flow of classes, problems in clarifying doubts, lack of interest, and motivations to attend classes. Difficulties concentrating in online classes can even be affected by the student's home life and support system. The pandemic has had an extremely profound effect on the learning abilities of a large majority of college-level students, and some of those effects continue to impact these students' well-being after full lockdowns and isolations have ended. Students interviewed for this paper have realized since taking these forced online classes that they have had to work really hard to get out of the mindsets that they fell into during the pandemic. However, not all of the effects of the pandemic were negative. Some students interviewed indicated that they, quote, learned more about the effectiveness of in-person classes, end quote, and gained more knowledge on which learning styles work better for themselves. Others also gained confidence in their abilities to work independently without constant supervision from a professor. Overall, the impacts of COVID have seemed insurmountable, but so many students have worked for the past few years to overcome them and get back to a place where they feel successful and, for lack of a better phrase, a return to normalcy. While the impacts on students' academics and educations education were extreme, it can be argued that an even more important area exists, and that is the mental, emotional, and social aspects of a student's life. These areas are heavily connected to academics, as a loss of control over academic work and life balance during lockdown led many students to find difficulty in adjusting to all of these changes. According to Chad E. Key, author of The Impact of COVID-19, Graduate Students' Emotional and Psychological Experiences. Many students had additional responsibilities thrown upon them during the pandemic as they were stuck spending so much time at home dealing with all of these changes occurring in the world around them, not to mention illness or dealing with the loss of family members. Difficulty in adjusting to these changes left many students with heightened feelings of fear and anxiety. Students were also left feeling so unsure about what sort of events they would and would not be able to experience that they may have been looking forward to for years, such as graduations and final sports seasons. This, of course, only added to these feelings of isolation and depression that students experienced, as so many things were left up in the air and out of the realm of possibility in a world where being in a large group became impossible. In the article, Impact of COVID-19 on the Mental Health of U.S. College Students, authors Lee, Solomon, Stead, and Kwan found that students felt increases in anxiety, loneliness, and depression throughout the pandemic. Much of this was related to the health of loved ones, concerns about the continuation and future of their educations, and anxieties about future job offers. Many students expressed difficulty in completing their semesters while being away from their campuses for so long. Additional support for these points can be found in the article Impact of COVID-19 on Psychology Among University Students by author Bablu Dar. Dar found that among nearly 16,000 surveyed students in Bangladesh, almost half experienced moderate levels of anxiety, where the almost other half experienced severe levels. Similarly, an analysis on the stressors which cause this increased levels of anxiety revealed a strong correlation to COVID-19 for its economic influences, causes in academic delays, and other influences in daily life. Outside of this, socializing in such an isolated world became even more difficult, and making the connections that humans need in order to thrive became nearly impossible. So many aspects of life became uncertain and up in the air, and the effects on the mental and emotional health of students were so significant, and they were even more heightened with the inability to use social interactions as an escape. As the lockdowns and isolations decreased in prominence, students are finally getting to return to the social climate that once served as a way to increase their mental well-being. Many students note an increase in their appreciation for time spent with friends and family due to the uncertain nature of the pandemic, and have thus become more outgoing and extroverted as a result. Students have started to realize the importance of self-reliance and resilience and how integral looking after oneself can be. While so many people experience some of the worst situations that life can bring, including true isolation, illness, and death, life during the pandemic changed everyone for good. While a great deal of the lasting effects still seem to be negative at the time being, many students are starting to see the good in all of the bad and are beginning to appreciate the life lessons that the pandemic has revealed to them. Students have had to evolve and change in ways that they never expected to even need to, and in many ways are better off for it. For better or worse, we learned how to better manage our time and work through problems presented to us all on our own. In a world where we have seen how quickly things can throw a wrench in everything that you have planned, students have gained a new sense of perspective in terms of making academic and career goals. We have realized the importance of considering the job market and how quickly it could change when deciding what careers we want to end up in. Most importantly of all, we have realized the importance of genuine human connection. Making friends in classes, forming relationships with professors, and working with peers on a daily basis sets students up for success, not only in the classroom, but out in the real world as well. Students and so many others suffered a great amount throughout the pandemic, and their ability to come out stronger on the other side of it is only a testament to their strength and resilience.